Welcome back, Derby fans, to the Salish Sea Slam. Thank you for joining us here online as we prepare for the first of two qualifying bouts to determine the two teams that will leave this weekend with a ticket to Wales for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championship Tournament. I am Piggy Fatness. I'm here with
G.I. Jones, and this is game number 10 of the weekend.
Yes, it is.
And as you mentioned, one of the only two qualifying bouts. This is the Philadelphia Hooligans going up against the Austin Anarchy, of course, a team you know well.
Yes, and Philadelphia Hooligans also got to see them play in their first bout this weekend. So, Jonesy, you and I have the responsibility of keeping the fans up to speed on what's happening here in this very important bout that will, as I mentioned, fill one of those two remaining spots at the MRDA Champs in Wales.
Boy, oh boy, lots of pressure there, but I think we can handle it. Of course, that's right. Austin Anarchy played earlier today against Montreal. Took the game 226 to 122.
And let's hear about their roster real quick just so we can get them in. Austin Anarchy, 1587, Florida Freeman, 22 is Antrax, 221, Bruce Payne III, 23 Sonic Boom, 3 is Wombo Combo, 303 El Nino, 35 Sharknado, 49 Revelation, 5 Tautomatic, 51 Naked Alien, 5150 Speedy Rella, 6010 Kojo Horizon, 818 Vicious, and 88 Danny B.
Here we go, Philadelphia Hooligans, number 0, Grasso, 040 Special Ed, 11 Mainframe, 13 Beast, 16 Speed Tree, 2 D-Morg, 245 Zombicidal Maniac, 25 Uncle Dad, number 4 Nurse Ratchet, 440 Ventura, 58 Schuler, 899 General It's So Fine, 9 T-Ice, 90 is Betty Switch, and 930 Sin Diesel.
Watching Philadelphia yesterday, Jonesy, the jammers to watch if they do indeed go with the rotation they had yesterday. Uncle Dad, number 25, and Betty Switch made huge impact in their bout yesterday as they took on the Race City Rebels.
Awesome, and that is exactly who we'll be looking for. Of course, I imagine them slipping in a couple of others. Austin, of course, we know we've seen them today. Antrax plays Sonic Boom, Wombo Combo, Sharknado. Those are the ones that we should see with the stars on for them.
Yeah, deep rotation. El Nino also part of that rotation. So we'll see what the plan is as we are just moments away from the start of this particular bout. Referee still talking to the captains and coaches. Jonesy, I'm excited. I don't know about you.
It's going to be a fun time. Yeah, it's hopefully it's quite interesting. I don't know if it was planned or not, but if you look the coaches down in your view of the camera, they're both wearing rose-colored dresses, rose-flowered dresses. It's really actually weird.
Indeed the case. So I don't know if there's a mind game going on or
what's quite interesting. Well coordinated. I don't know if it was planned or not, but there you go. That's what it is. And as you can see, head ref chatting with them still, talking about the rules. We've had situations this weekend where the head refs have actually stopped gameplay, had an official timeout, and talked to the teams and goes, guys, it's getting a little ugly out there, a little too much head action, face masks getting in faces, etc. I mean, that's what they're designed to do, but still, they've had to say, calm things down because it's getting a little ugly.
Philadelphia Hooligans, Jonesy, the number 1 seed coming into this tournament. They are 11 on the Men's Roller Derby Association rankings. Austin Anarchy at 23. And so, again, we are seeing the culmination of this initial bracket that we have been working through here this weekend. The second qualifying bout will be directly after this one, and we will have an opportunity to see Denver Ground Control taking on the Race City Rebels for that second spot that is available. But right now it is Austin Anarchy and Philadelphia Hooligans. For those of you joining us online, thank you so much for being here with us. And we are going to be started here in just a bit. White jerseys will be Austin Anarchy. Black jerseys will be the Philadelphia Hooligans. And so it's all ready to go as we stall and fill time
for the refs that are still having their meeting. So how about them? Wow, what a venue.
Yes, indeed. We are at the Richmond Olympic Oval.
We are.
There's 2010 Winter Olympics. Colorful. And there's people here.
Almost more important than the 2010 Olympics is the fact that in 2016, it was the playoffs location.
Sure.
D1 playoffs location.
A favorite location of Derby, folks.
It's a beautiful venue.
It really is.
Right out back, actually, I took a break earlier, sat down, enjoyed the sun, enjoyed the sea air, and watched the seaplanes that actually legit land right behind the venue.
And take off every few seconds.
They do.
So if you're wanting to have a really important, impactful conversation, that's not the place to do it. So
not a place to do it.
And as you can see by your screens, the officials and such still having a conversation, but that's okay because, hey, these are the kinds of bouts you got to let the tension build, you know?
Yeah, we're here. This is actually on purpose. We're trying to build suspense and increase the viewership of this game.
So call your
every
friends.
Every penny counts.
Yeah. And speaking of
pennies, let's do some. Oh, wait, hold on. We have action on the track.
Yes, we do.
I see some handshakes. I see some head ref leaving.
But if you like what you're watching, we can quickly fit it in. Yes. Go to finances@mainlandmisfits.com to help contribute to the cause of this live feed for you. And there, snuck it in.
Yep, and you will expect to see that on an overlay at some point. Reese just got taking care of the feed today, and he puts that on. He might flash up a cat, too. He did that earlier. It was quite sneaky.
It's the now we're going to focus on right now as Uncle Dad wears the star for the Philadelphia Hooligans, and as has been the case, Sharknado starts the rotation
there we go.
For Anarchy.
The refs seem to be moving into place. There goes the whistle for the warning to get things started, and the next one will be the go.
No sweeter sound than that 5-second call as we get ready for this first of 2 qualifying bouts.
And we are off.
Off we go.
Uncle Dad going to the inside by getting knocked out and chipped out. Recycled. Sharknado trying to get up, but held down by number 9.
Number 9 is T-Ice, and that opens the door for Uncle Dad to pick up lead jammer for Philadelphia.
Sharknado getting knocked out and recycled again to the outside. Very tall team from what I'm seeing this first line out of the Hooligans.
Uncle Dad facing off against a set of Anarchy blockers, not quite a wall. Well, now they wall up and try to slow him down, and he's able to tiptoe on the outside line, picks up 5 points. And the scoring has begun.
Meanwhile, at the back, Sharknado trying to do a fake star pass. They didn't fall for it. There was actually no pivot nearby when he did it. Pulled it off, juked left, tried to fake it, and he is still recycled. And at the back, as Uncle Dad passes through again for another 5 points.
Uncle Dad comfortable on those inside and outside lines as he's got great toe-stop work that served him well yesterday. So we'll see if that will be the case here.
He is back into the pack as Sharknado has handed off his star. Alien, of course, has it now. Naked Alien, and he will jump right in, but he got recycled before he had that opportunity to get into the pack. See, at the front, Naked Alien knocked out by 1 skate, recycled all the way back. Jumps in. Uncle Dad now at the back of the pack as well.
The Hooligans are going to do there's a process in which they'll give you a few feet, but they will angle you out and force you back. And so already we're seeing that play out here in this first jam.
Sounds like a good tactic and an effective one. Naked Alien doing the step over. Dodges that hit, gets out of the pack. That is the initial finally complete for Austin, and Philadelphia is going to blow that whistle.
It was a power jam opportunity. Tail end of that jam, as Uncle Dad had reported to the penalty box. El Nino will have a power start. But there was a point at which you had to know, at least in that jam, that was the only thing that was going to bring Uncle Dad to a stop.
Exactly, and I didn't even notice it happening. He was sitting right in front of the official in front of me. And yeah, that jam went its natural 2 minutes with the power ending, and now a power start for this next jam number 2 of the game. Philadelphia up 15-0.
El Nino with the star and a full set of blockers on both sides.
El Nino, unfortunately, the victim of his own team's offense. Gets run into by Tautomatic, bowled everyone over, and El Nino picks up a low block. Going to go to the penalty box, and that releases Uncle Dad, who is out on the track and picks up lead. So much for that power start.
Just like that, Uncle Dad back in control and has his support team ready to go. Anarchy lines up, 4 wall on the front side of the pack. Here come the Hooligans. Uncle Dad, dead center of that wall of Anarchy and breaks right through, picks up an extra 5 points. El Nino now completing the penalty time and is back on the track, battling to get through.
What I've noticed with Uncle Dad and his jamming technique is he gets in, he rushes forward, stomps, and then gets it. He does a couple of pulses, if you want, of just pushing, letting them slack off, and then taking up that slack and then pushing again. And that seems to be part of his success.
Indeed. Jam comes to a close after 7 points put up by the Hooligans. 22 on the board for Philadelphia. 0 for Anarchy. 26 minutes, 14 seconds.
Automatic picking up a low block on that. I'm sure you saw it on screen. Tripped up Uncle Dad. Uncle Dad landed hard onto his tummy. Took a couple seconds getting up. Automatic in the penalty box.
Beast now for Philadelphia with the star. Antrax is jamming for Austin.
Beast taking his time. He's going to read the game and then get into things. Jumps the line, dances around it, gets lead for the Hooligans.
Antrax able to sneak out and clear his initial pass as well. Pack speed increasing. Anarchy sets up a 3-wall on the front side.
Beast goes in, taps his hip, calls off the jam.
Picks up 3. So Anarchy limits the point total there. Only 1 pass, 3 points. And we will reset. Sonic Boom will take the line for Anarchy. Betty Switch with the star for the Hooligans.
I can imagine Sonic Boom hoping to be the first one to put points on the board for Austin. And as you mentioned earlier, Betty Switch, someone to watch as a jammer for Philadelphia. Here we go.
Once again, empty penalty box. Full set of blockers on the track. Both jammers now pushing into the backside of the wall. Betty Switch goes forward and is slowed down. Naked Alien takes a shot and pushes her out of bounds and back. Sonic Boom battling, trying to find space, but gets drawn back as well.
Switch at the front, having a rough time staying on her feet. She keeps dropping knees as she pushes forward, and finally out of the pack will end up with lead. Gets knocked out, and the person that knocked her out went down, so she kept going. Calls off the jam as Sonic Boom caught up with her.
Sonic Boom does have that strong speed that's going to be an impact, but right now Austin looking to break that 0, and they will send Sharknado out once again to jam, facing off against the Hooligans. Number 0, this is Grasso, who is making his first appearance as a jammer for this team.
And he just goes right into that wall of 4. Tries to wedge himself in between the players. Finally gets through because of the out of play call. And there we go, lead to Hooligans. Austin, no success, but a successful apex jump there by Sharknado. Let's see if he can get around and score points before Grasso notices what's going down.
Grasso pushes through, calls off the jam, and gets all 4.
My brain wasn't quite picturing where I had seen the name Grasso before. Team Italy, if I'm not mistaken, from the Men's Roller Derby World Cup.
Grasso right now did put an additional 4 points on the board for Philadelphia.
We've got a timeout called by Austin Anarchy, which is not a surprise.
It's one of those things where Philadelphia doing exactly what they did in their bout yesterday. They came in as the 1 seed. They had the bye into the second round and just dominated their bout that they had against Race City, and really took control early. And this is what we're seeing happen right now against Austin. Austin taking a moment to regroup, see what they can do. And right now, if I know the sport well enough, it's Uncle Dad. You got to figure out how to stop.
How to stop Uncle Dad, yes. And if I'm not mistaken, yesterday that was a discussion point in the YouTube channel. Uncle Dad's name was mentioned repeatedly, and yes, definitely a factor here. But really, I mean, they've got to have, Austin really has to grab something and grab a hold of it and then keep going with it. But right now, they're just grasping for straws as it is and trying to get a first point on the board.
And if you consider the number of minutes that have passed, it's still obviously very early, but it's that 29 point that total that just sort of appeared, and now they're trying to mitigate that. Uncle Dad going up against El Nino. Uncle Dad now looking for a pass on the inside. Does not make the jump. He will have to recycle back, and does so quickly.
Looks like a toe stop sitting off on the track. I'm not sure.
That toe stop
belongs to one of the blockers, I think. I'm not sure. But anyhow.
Uncle Dad picks up lead jammer. El Nino looking for a path and makes it inside.
Okay, let's see if he can do anything on this, or is Uncle Dad going to be amazingly aware and not let it happen, which is what he's doing. So that 0 continues to haunt the Austin team. 4 more points for Philadelphia on that jam.
But it's a difference between multiple passes and one. This is the difference in this particular jam. El Nino was able to get out quickly and stop the jam.
Yeah.
So we will see if that pattern will continue. Antrax will be jamming for Anarchy. Beast will have the star for the Hooligans.
2 in the box, 1 from each team on a penalty. Special Ed and Vicious are sitting there waiting to come out. And taking things slow, which is the way Beast does it. He holds, and then he punches. And that's exactly what he's doing. Dances the line, gets out, and gets lead for Philadelphia.
As I think of my pregame comments, I should have mentioned Beast as a jammer to watch as well. As Antrax, no pass, no penalty, does make the pass.
Let's see what happens here. Will somebody get some points? Here's a chance for Austin. No. He might have picked up 1. Yes,
he did pick up 1 point, make that pass. I think Beast might have lost sight of him for just a moment.
I think
so. And that enabled Austin to go and get that point courtesy of Antrax and break that 0.
And the cheering from the bench confirms it. That is 1 point on the board for Austin Anarchy.
4 more points by Philadelphia makes the score 37-1, 21 minutes, 23 seconds.
And lining up next, we have Sonic Boom lining up against Betty Switch for this next jam. Betty Switch out to the front first. Sonic Boom getting knocked out and recycled. Switch at the front gets lead.
2 blockers in the box for Anarchy, and that is the difference. Switch gets a great assist from her teammate number 9. That is T-Ice.
She just went through the pack once again without even knocking into anybody. That was a frictionless pass, which was a wording given to me earlier today, and it totally makes sense. Not a challenge at all. She may pick up a penalty for a back block there.
And it looks like that is indeed the case. Betty Switch will report to the penalty box. The jam will continue as Anarchy now has the power jam. Sonic Boom did complete his initial, so
they've got Antrax up on the board, but that's not the case. It is Sonic Boom that's jamming. There has not been a star pass. And Sonic Boom dancing T-Ice out of the way and gets through. That'll put some points up finally for Anarchy.
It is a 5-point signal that is being made by the official for Sonic Boom.
Now Sonic Boom getting a little assistance from number 818, Vicious.
Nice force out, though, by the blockers for the Hooligans, forcing back Sonic Boom. Speed Tree, T-Ice working alongside Schuler.
And Betty Switch back on the track and through for a scoring pass as we were discussing Sonic Boom and his attempts.
Anarchy blockers working hard against Betty Switch, trying to slow her progress.
Schuler having a great success there of putting Sonic Boom out, and a wonderful bit of morale coming off the bench from the Hooligan team cheering him on that.
13-8 jam in favor of the Hooligans. Anarchy up to 9 points. Philadelphia is at 50 as we now see Sharknado once again jamming for Anarchy.
And that's Grasso.
Grasso is the jammer of note for the Hooligans.
Probably with a little twist to the language. And Sharknado taking a blocker stance there for a minute, slowing things down for Grasso as he goes to the front now, hops through, remains inbounds, gets popped by Special Ed, and makes his way out for lead, Austin Anarchy.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first lead jammer call for Austin. Sharknado. But in heavy pursuit is Grasso. Sharknado picks up 1.
He was going in there at speed and knew what he was about to do. I was hoping to pick up more than one, I guarantee it. But one is better than none, and now they are up to 10. Our famous Uncle Dad back out on the track with the star for the Hooligans, and Il Nino there for Austin Anarchy, hoping to get in and push that pack out of the way and get lead.
Antrax working alongside Naked Alien, and a penalty is picked up by Uncle Dad. Track cut is the call. Il Nino with an opportunity here. Anarchy skaters in to help out. Hooligans put it together, a 3-wall on the front side. Il Nino is able to avoid lead jammer call.
Out of play block being given a 16 speed tree as the no pack was called, and he engaged the jammer. Il Nino through now on a scoring pass with lead. So all in control is Il Nino. Uncle Dad standing now in the penalty box, getting ready to come out. Il Nino locks him down.
Strong push to the pack, picks up 5 points, calls it off. Uncle Dad was standing, and so best to get those points, get off, and let's see what happens on the next rotation.
Possibly had they let Uncle Dad come back on the track, that jam could have ended and he would have been out of the
Different
rotation.
Jammer.
Now he's about to go in, and of course, as we know, he's a little bit of a danger. He's got a couple seconds left. Sonic Boom ready to go and start this with a power start, but only for 2 seconds. We'll see how the blocking line does for Austin.
4-3 blocker advantage for Anarchy as we get underway. Sonic Boom getting some help from Vicious on the outside. Nice strong push by Sonic Boom to try to break free. Nice recovery though by the Hooligans, and the lead jammer call goes to Austin Anarchy. Sonic Boom. Bruce Payne III does sit down, and a penalty for a track cut on Uncle Dad sits him back down. This is Power Jam Austin Anarchy.
This is what they need, and this is coincidental that 2 jams in a row now. Uncle Dad to the penalty box, but Sonic Boom on the track getting knocked hard to the inside will get recycled and have to try it again.
Drawn back, and again the size of these Hooligan blockers definitely making a difference in this early gameplay.
Sonic Boom leaning in hard but not getting anywhere on that lean. Finally goes around the outside, gets up to the front but gets knocked out once again by Nurse Ratchet, and is recycled, but Nurse Ratchet picking up a penalty.
Out of play is the call. Sonic Boom battling on the backside, trying to make something happen, but Uncle Dad has cleared the pack and has completed his initial pass. The jam is called because that's what you have to do.
Well, there you go. They've doubled their points. Austin Anarchy now up to 20 with a 5-point jam on that last jam. 2, a power start and a power jam in that. They picked up 5 points. Philadelphia locked down to 0, 50-20 right now the score.
It's been a tale of 2 bouts here for Anarchy on their journey to this point. The first game that they played against the Race City Rebels was this back and forth affair. Not too much of a point differential throughout the entire game, and when it was over, a 3-point differential with Race City Rebels winning. And then they came in against Montreal, dominated the bout earlier today, but now trying to figure out how to stop Beast and
Beast is out of the pack and
Philadelphia Hooligans.
Tell you, he is out with lead, but looks like that's Antrax is out of the pack himself, and Beast gets hit hard, goes down, and calls off the jam. He's still not sure what happened. He's looking around at the floor.
Anarchy starting to find some success in getting their jammers out, and so we'll see if that continues here as we are now past the halfway point of this first period. Qualifying bout number 1 here at the Salish Sea Slam North American Qualifier. 2 tickets left to Wales for 2 teams, and 1 team will be determined by this bout. Betty Switch jamming for the Hooligans, Sharknado for Anarchy.
A multiplayer block being issued out to Naked Alien. He will sit down. Betty Switch in the meantime has gotten out of the pack and has become lead. Sharknado out to the outside and recycled as Betty Switch makes her way through and makes it look easy as she does.
So strong is Betty Switch, and the just furious rotation of Hooligan blockers making life really difficult for Sharknado.
He gets past one, the one at the back jumps to the front, reabsorbs him, finally he gets his way out. That is just his initial pass. Switch calling off the jam, and a timeout being called by the Anarchy once again.
Discussion now being held by Coach Spanks and Anarchy. We are at 13 minutes, 23 seconds, 57 on the board for Philadelphia after a 7-0 jam, 20 for Anarchy. Jonesy, how do you stop the Hooligans? That's really the question here.
I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at everybody that's there, and it's like, I don't even know how to answer that. Their recycling is incredible. They are constantly just rotating that triangle, and even when it doesn't become a triangle and just becomes one blocker after the other, they're still the blocker that has fallen behind then comes up. It's that whole thing that some coaches teach about never giving up.
Right.
And these guys don't stop. They will hit and then get lost, but then come right back up and become part of that cycle again, and that just destroys jammers' morale.
Yeah. And depending on the lines, there's also, as we mentioned twice now, there is a size differential. The Hooligans blockers are taller, and again, they've just right now to this point been tough to stop. So El Nino looking to solve the riddle of the Hooligans as he prepares to jam. Grasso with the star for the Hooligans.
The Hooligans now, of course, we're on an official timeout now as they do some track maintenance, and they've got a song for everything, these Hooligans. They are cheering on the tapeworm as she tapes things. But
definitely a lot of spirit from this Hooligans team.
Look at the size of the blockers. If we look, we're at eye level right now, right behind the penalty box, and they're all tall. These are a tall bunch of dudes. So when you do the table-topping blocking, that allows you to have that much more distance before you get folded up and then are absorbing jammers. So having that height advantage is definitely a factor and will definitely play a factor. You can see the Austin skaters out there trying to catch their breath, getting the zen back in and trying to get focused on this game, and that's what it is. They need to keep their focus.
They know what's at stake. They've come to play, and both of these teams really, really playing at a furious pace as these jams, as each jam whistle starts, you see the pace of the entire game just go at such a hurried pace. As I say, pace 27 times in the same sentence.
Pace? So. Pace. Okay, on the track, it's Grasso once again going up against El Nino. Whistle blows Grasso. It doesn't take any time to leave that line, and he is out, but gets chipped out by Vicious and will get reabsorbed. At the front, El Nino does his best and manages to push his way through the pack. He will have lead.
Blockers from the Hooligans in to break up that wall by Anarchy. Grasso still stuck behind a wall of white jerseys. El Nino now dealing with a 3-wall on the back side of the pack. Bracing is the Philadelphia team.
Oh. And El Nino falling over one of the Hooligan blockers. No penalty assessed on that. Meanwhile, that delay has caused Grasso to get out of the pack, which will cause Nino to call it off, but not before he picks up a couple points.
3 points on that pass. 23 now for Anarchy. 12.5 minutes. And a little bit of a momentum shift to the Anarchy side. But again, really the biggest difference I'm noticing, at least coming off the line, is the speed at which the Hooligan jammers take off.
Those guys just explode off the
line.
They
really
Sprinter
do.
Style.
As opposed to the Anarchy jammers who are immediately, facing a wall. So we'll see what the difference is here.
The exception to that rule, of course, is Beast. He takes his time, reads it like a chess game, and then explodes. But yes.
Antrex pushing up against a 4-wall on the front side by the Hooligans. Bridging now.
Dan takes the outside line, runs along, cuts in, and cuts the apex to pick up lead for the Hooligans.
Antrex does manage to get out, does complete the initial pass. Uncle Dad now engaged on the front portion against Anarchy and calls it off. Only picking up 1 point that time is Uncle Dad. Beast now getting ready to do battle. Big hug for Sonic Boom.
Okay, and the pack advantage this time is Austin's pack advantage. They've got 4 blockers, 1 in the box for the Hooligans. That's Zombie.
Zombicidal Maniac.
The whole pack moved right in on him, so it didn't have any chance to get any speed up before they locked down Beast. But now that things are moving, Sonic Boom getting chipped to the outside as Beast is up at the front, and he is primed and just bouncing everywhere.
At the same time, though, as he came to that box, a low block was assessed on T-ice, so a little bit of a tangle on skates.
At the same time, Sonic Boom is sitting down in front of us in the penalty box.
Right.
Not sure what the penalty was.
It was a track cut on
Okay.
Sonic Boom.
So Beast is out there all by his lonesome self. He still hasn't made lead. He gets
nice force out by Anarchy on Beast, drawing him back. Still no call for lead as Sonic Boom is back on the track.
Oh, wow.
Sonic Boom forced out and drawn back as well. Beast does pick up the lead jammer call. Doesn't realize that the helmet cover is not on his helmet.
He'll have to get that as he goes around, but that will avoid him getting any points. His pivot can bring it back to him. He can't call now because he doesn't have the helmet cover on.
Danny B forcing out Beast. Sonic Boom having to re-engage.
Good.
Chaos, chaos, chaos.
So yeah, the hiccup with that one is, do I go back and get it, or do I go and push through? Sadly, when you push through, you're missing those points that you could potentially claim. But then, of course, because it was an accidental removal of the helmet cover, he still had the ability to call off the jam.
Betty Switch now with the star as we get an official timeout being signaled. When we get back to the action, it will be Sharknado and Betty Switch.
And official timeout brought to you by Nerd Roller Skates. Everything you need for roller derby and beyond. Free shipping across Canada to Canadian orders over $150. Nerdskates.com. Or if you're in Calgary or the Calgary area, visit their Calgary full-service shop. Nerd Roller Skates for people who roll.
Middle of your screen, actually a little bit off to the left, you can see the little discussion being held by both teams as they wait out this official timeout. That's the thing I love about what we've seen this weekend is just the camaraderie amongst all these teams. I'm not saying that that's unique to this tournament, but it's something that has really stood out.
I'd say that's like roller derby.
Yeah, of course. But there's something about this environment, these teams knowing they're part of something special. The very first North American qualifier, we had the European qualifier a couple of weeks ago. They love being here because of not only the historic aspect of this event happening, but also because of the chance to play teams that they have not encountered in their previous time frames.
True. And on that note, in the stands, we've got many players from all the other teams. I've seen some players from teams that aren't even involved in this. We've got the Vancouver Murder, of course, helping host this. I saw some Toronto shirts and stuff like that. And our head ref is coming over to talk with the coaches. We're going to verify if there's a clarification on what went down with that last play.
We'll see if we can get an update on what was being discussed.
I'm hearing possibly on the house feed, of course, they've got the head ref that talks to them, or the ref, and I heard something about Sonic Boom, and that's exactly what we see in front of us. Sonic Boom in for a backblock penalty to the penalty box. So that will be a power start for number 25, Uncle Dad, out there once again. And his whole line of blockers there to help him out. So once we get this started.
Naked Alien, Automatic, Antrax make up the bulk of the Anarchy line alongside Danny B.
So you could see there Special Ed taking off, getting the pack moving, which helped everything happen because Austin Anarchy got pushed forward, but Antrax there not falling for that, and Uncle Dad gets whipped to the outside off of Antrax.
That is a classic Antrax shoulder check, and it does its job. Slowing down Uncle Dad, and another shot.
But he went out.
And picked up a forearm penalty. That will send her to the penalty box. So now Uncle Dad.
That's that do not give up, and Antrax definitely brought that into play right there. Got another second shot on Uncle Dad. Very powerful stuff, and it looks like Sonic Boom is going to make his way through the pack. And we have a roller derby jam. No. Uncle Dad says, no, you don't. And calls it off. General Sofine going to sit down in the penalty box. Going to put a slight advantage on the next jam to the Anarchy blocking line.
67-23 after a 9-0 jam for the Hooligans. 8:05 left on the clock. And again, right now, Hooligans firing on all pistons. They sent out Grasso to jam against Sharknado.
Sharknado, of course, picking up the first lead for Austin, so this could be a success on his part. He gets right in, leans hard. He only has 3 blockers to contend with, but Grasso jumped right in there and joined his team. I was
and
going
a
to
track
wonder how
cut
that did not get
called.
whistled. Grasso went right through the middle, then said, you know what, I'm just going to get up and carry on. Did not work.
Lead jammer goes to Sharknado as a result.
And he starts a power jam.
3-wall by the Hooligans breaks apart a Sharknado. He does get forced out at the top of the apex between 3 and 4 and has to reset.
There's Ratchet on that hit, chipping him to the outside, and then he gets back in and goes. Now, just amazing recycling to watch from these Hooligan blockers.
Also, each blocker taking a shot. It's not just about position. It's that they're making contact one by one, and that's got to take its toll on the Anarchy jammers.
Grasso this time staying in bounds and staying on his feet, but jam whistle down, of course. Great move by Sharknado because, you know what, you could let him skate all the way around, but that's going to eat up some of the time. Time is valuable right now. You're down by just under 30 points, 40 points. Math, I don't know. You can do it faster than I can. But I can drive a tank.
620, you win. 622 and counting. Betty Switch back on the line, jamming for the Hooligans.
And Il Nino out there for the Austin Anarchy.
4-3 blocker advantage for Anarchy. And Il Nino makes them pay. It's going to be a lead jam call for Austin.
As soon as those whistles go, Betty Switch removes the helmet cover and pushes forward. T-Ice not ready to grab that, to receive that star just yet. Naked, that's in the works.
Naked Alien and Vicious. Bruce Payne now part of this Anarchy defense.
Naked Alien staying in after the hit to Betty Switch.
El Nino now engaged on the front side. 3-wall by the Hooligans, making life difficult for El Nino.
Look at that, though. He pushes right through that bad day. And carries on with a smile on his face. 5 points on the board for Austin Anarchy. That's 10 points in this jam alone. This is a good jam.
El Nino looking for more. Here come the Anarchy blockers to try to create some space. And there's the pass. 4 more points for El Nino. And all of a sudden, we have got...
There we go.
38 points for Anarchy. We'll look for a score update here in just a minute.
We should see 4
as
more.
The points went on the wrong side. So 42 for Anarchy, 67 for Philadelphia. Jonesy, I think it's fair to say.
That's 25 points.
Yes, I think it's fair to say the momentum has, for the moment, switched to Anarchy.
Definitely on that jam. There's no question and no doubt about that. And on the track, we've got Beast lining up against Antrax. Antrax and Beast, both of them off. Beast not taking any time, delaying, and leaves with lead for Philadelphia.
Antrax looking to make that initial pass, and he has. Beast with his speed now approaching the back portion of the pack and through. One skater to beat, and actually a forearm is called. Power jam for Anarchy is the result. Antrax now makes a pass, picks up 5 points. This is going to be a very interesting 30 seconds, Jonesy, as Anarchy has an opportunity here.
I am tracking this and watching Beast, and he's very frustrated because he hit the player on the side. So he thought he was fine, and he thought he was getting a back block. But what happened is he pushed off with his arm and ended up with a forearm penalty. So yes, right now, Antrax out there on his own. Again, 10 points on the board, but then he himself picks up a forearm penalty. Balancing things out. Beast.
That 10 points is now what has Anarchy within 15, but Beast now back on the track and he is
primed. He is taking all that frustration of that penalty and has put it to the track. He just danced through everybody out there and grabbed a few points for himself.
Hooligans blockers had an opportunity to prepare for Antrax's return, and now they are drawing him back. Speedtree drew him back, but Antrax skillfully gets through on the inside. 4 points for Anarchy.
I am actually seeing a little frustration right now on the Philadelphia Hooligan blocking line, where things are not working for them, so they're kind of getting a little flustered.
Defensively, Anarchy also doing a good job of slowing down Beast, which, again, that has been the initial trouble that Anarchy had early on. 5 more points.
Look at that.
Now, as the gap has been close to 11 as this jam comes to a close. What a...
I think we can summarize that whole jam with, hey, Philadelphia, we're here to play.
Exactly, and that is the nature of this team. 76-61 as Philadelphia did put 9 points as well. 76-61 after a 19-9 jam.
Sonic Boom just skated out to his position at the jam line. Big smile on his face. He is ready to go. The momentum is catching up. And we have an official review and coaches being called to the middle.
Official timeout is a signal, so. $15 points separating these two teams. 2 minutes, 18 seconds. The Hooligans to this point have dominated, but Austin Anarchy has really stepped up in these last 3 jams, not just offensively, but defensively. So we will see if they can continue that momentum swing here in the last couple of minutes.
So what I'm seeing the head ref talking to the coaches about, she's talking about charging penalties, and she's not giving them right now, but she's seeing a lot of cases where things could be penalties, and she's warning them as they're going to start coming if you guys don't cool things down.
We'll keep an eye on that. Good warning by the ref and a good decision to let these teams play. A lot is at stake. And here we are, Sonic Boom taking on Uncle Dad. After what was such a frenetic jam, we'll see what the Hooligans do to try to regain control.
Uncle Dad almost stayed in bounds, got a wheel over the edge, and then got clocked as he landed that, picked up his cutting the track penalty. And we're going to have a penalty, low block, going to Sonic Boom.
There was a moment of hesitation when the penalty on Uncle Dad was called. Sonic Boom did a bit of a stutter step to stop and then tried to go forward, picked up the penalty. This will be a short amount of time for Sonic, but again, now we'll go the full 2 minutes.
Exactly. Oh.
And another penalty.
Wow.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on Jonesy as the number of penalties Uncle Dad has had this first period.
That's got to be at least 4 that I'm counting. We'll check that with our penalty box manager. He will give us our numbers once we get a chance. Sonic Boom getting knocked out by Nurse Ratchet and recycled. Zombie getting ready to help out Ratchet and slow down the jammer.
Not enough can be said about the patience that Anarchy has shown, but right now the Hooligans blocker is back to what they've been doing all game long, and that is hitting hard and drawing back Sonic Boom.
You can see the Austin blockers there, sorry, just telling him that you don't have to pass Nurse Ratchet. Nurse Ratchet did that false pullback, but he didn't have to. Doesn't matter, he's back on the track and through. 5.
So we talked about earlier, how do you stop Uncle Dad? 5 penalties.
Oh!
Sonic Boom, spin move through for 4.
Wow. That was incredible. Sonic Boom dancing that line, and just the momentum kept him going. He spun to the inside, which kept him like a ballerina, just to the middle. And Uncle Dad is getting knocked out. Both jammers getting knocked out, recycled right now. Special
Ed with some fantastic blocking on Sonic Boom. Nurse Ratchet the same. Both jammers having to reclaim the space that they had gained.
Wow.
And an official review being signaled now by Philadelphia.
Okay, and on that note, as was mentioned, I don't know if you heard the penalty box manager, Uncle Dad is on 5. So, yeah.
And right now, we talked earlier about the dominant performance of the Philadelphia Hooligans. These last 3 or 4 jams, Anarchy has figured out a few things, and we now sit at only an 8-point differential. So the Hooligans are going to have to figure out, okay, what's the key here? Because they expended a lot of energy to build a huge lead, but now
that lead is gone. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a couple shutout jams in a row, or very minimal for Philadelphia. So, because I feel that 76 has been there a while.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, this is going to be key. I mean, we've got one more jam in this half. The official review, not sure what it's about. I'll try to listen to see if the house call has any info on it. And definitely, I think Austin Anarchy has put Philadelphia on their heels going, whoa, where did this come from? What's happening?
Well, I think what we can definitely know that we've seen is that there has definitely been an increase in the physicality of Anarchy over the course of the last few jams. They've really, really amped up their physicality in terms of gameplay. But again, there have been penalty issues that the Hooligans have encountered that they need to get cleaned up.
So if I look at the dot that's on the board at the Philadelphia side, the official review does not remain. So whatever the challenge was, they did not win it. And as you can see, we are back at gameplay. Of course, that's Betty Switch out front and Sharknado at the back right now with the stars on for their respective teams.
Good rotation of blockers by Anarchy in terms of keeping Betty Switch in check. Loss of a blocker now as Nurse Ratchet reports to the penalty box for the Hooligans, and a track cut now on Betty Switch. Opportunity for Anarchy. Now, Antrax approaching the penalty box as well as Sharknado, where he's cleared the pack and does have the lead jammer call.
It's almost like you were delaying, waiting for that lead call. Now, he's only got 2 blockers to contend with, as we have 2 blockers in the box in front of us.
This will be a, again, the physicality of the Hooligans coming into play as Sharknado gets forced back. We'll see if he was able to clear.
They're playing with him.
They really are. No time for hesitation, but Sharknado forced to the infield once again and calls off the jam. So we will see.
In the box. It did not succeed at that.
There were 4 points picked up by Anarchy on the tail end of that jam as we have gotten to the halftime period.
They haven't gone up on the board yet.
They have not, and so we'll see what's happening at this point.
There they go.
So it looks like there it is. So 4 points up on the board, 4-0 jam to close out what has been an amazing first period, Jonesy. Yeah.
That's been crazy. We're at a 4-point game. At one point it was 50
to single digits.
10,
I mean, yeah.
10, and then they worked their way back up 50 to 20. And then, wow, in the last 10 minutes of this first half, it's just been
very different game.
It's been all Austin.
Indeed.
All the time.
Anarchy with a strong push. The Hooligans have really, really shown how strong they are and how physical they play. Anarchy responded in the latter portion of that period. So we'll look forward to see what the adjustments are coming into the second period. For those of you, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back to figure out who will take the ticket here between Austin Anarchy and the Philadelphia Hooligans at the Salish Sea Slam Men's Roller Derby Association North American Qualifier. Jonesy, we'll be right back with more derby action.
See you in 9.5 minutes.
Nerd Roller Skates is your dedicated quad roller skate shop in Calgary, Alberta.
Being a nerd is about being really excited and really passionate about a really specific thing. And the thing that we are really passionate about is roller skates.
Nerd Roller Skates, for people who roll.
Wow.
What a game we've got on our hands, Piggy. 76-72 for Philadelphia. They finished that last half all Austin, pretty much.
Yeah. If you're watching from the beginning, then you know that Philadelphia went off on a dominant run at the beginning of the first period, but Austin Anarchy came roaring back. And Jonesy, as we get ready for the second period, we want to make sure that we understand what the stakes are. One of the two spots open for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships is at stake, and these teams are battling it out with absolutely no sign of quit.
Well, it's key for both of them. They both want to win this. Who doesn't want to go all the way to Wales? And that's exactly what they're fighting for, and it's going to be one heck of a fight the second half.
Indeed, and I want to make sure that we show this. I love the Philadelphia Hooligans approach right here. You've got Uncle Dad at 5 penalties, but you're putting him out there because you're saying we are going to still rely on his talent and skill. So
you know what? You can either hold him back and hope that he doesn't get the 7, or push him all the way. And if he gets 7, so be it. We fall back onto something else, right?
Right now, though, Sharknado picks up lead jammer against the Hooligans defense, and we also have a blocker from the Hooligans. That is Zombicidal Maniac, who will report to the penalty box. So Sharknado now in position to tie this game.
And Uncle Dad out of the pack finally. Sharknado's going to push his way through, probably hit it and call that, which is exactly what he does. How many points he picks up? It's question 3 on the board. So guess what we have right now? We have a lead change. No?
We don't quite yet.
No, we don't. Sorry, I thought the 3 were going to go right up.
Don't get excited, Jonesy.
Everybody out on that. I looked down and I looked up and I saw the 3. I didn't realize it already went on the board.
I heard the collective almost groans of Texas as you said
Sorry,
that.
Sorry, Texas. Sorry, I owe you. No, I'm not going to say I owe you.
No,
That's a big,
that's a big
state. I am not taking that chance. But 76-75. This next jam could be the one that switches things over. We're
it could be, but Beast is on the line against El Nino, who just picked up lead jammer.
What happened?
For Austin Anarchy. Beast still trying to get through. One blocker to beat and is through. El Nino trying to either tie or pass, but the pace is feverish. We'll see what happens. We'll wait. And we 3-2 for Philadelphia, and still a 2-point differential. So
okay, so if this is how the second half's going to go, I'm going to need – I don't drink, but I know that there's a beer garden over here.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
I don't know how to describe this other than shall we say it again on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Wow.
And on the track we've got Antrax and Grasso. Grasso has a cheering section over by the opposite side of this, and Grasso goes through the pack on the outside, gets lead for Philadelphia.
Antrax battling through, trying to complete his initial pass, and he does. Grasso now approaching the backside of the pack, and Anarchy is moving.
Wow, what a pack. Look at the speed out there happening. Grasso into the 4 skaters of Austin Anarchy. Grabs 2 points, calls off the jam. Not letting anybody get points on the Anarchy side, and of course that was Antrax with the start.
I can't say this enough. What a change in the Anarchy intensity, and now both teams seeing that, hey, you know, it's like that prize fight where they've both drawn blood, and now they're like, okay, so now it's real.
Anarchy's good to go and excited because they had a great end.
Yeah.
And of course Philadelphia's excited because, oh my gosh, they had a great end. We have to step up our game.
Indeed.
And that's what's happening now.
So Betty Switch.
Sonic Boom out there.
Betty Switch for the Hooligans. Betty Switch has seen some success this bout and is looking for more. Forearm penalty now will, well, no, it was Kojo Ryzen who picked up the forearm.
And lead is Sonic Boom's, but Betty Switch passes right by him. So Sonic Boom, control of the jam, is going to call things off and not let Switch get any points. That's okay. Lost a little bit of momentum there with a little bit of the I think the line fell apart on the blockers.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Sonic Boom reeled it in, tapped his hips, called it off.
If you're just joining us online, first of all, as I like to say, shame on you, but thank you for joining us. You have come into what is one of the most exciting bouts of the weekend. Austin Anarchy taking on the Philadelphia Hooligans, 81-77, 26 minutes. Anarchy in white, the Hooligans in black. and Sharknado ready to face off against Uncle Dad.
That's right. Uncle Dad, of course, those of you joining us don't know, but he is on 5 penalties as a jammer. They have continued to play him. They are not slacking off on that. And he's at the front right now, pushing to try to get lead for the Hooligans.
Does pick up lead jammer, Uncle Dad. Now, the initial pass by Sharknado still needs to be completed, and the Hooligans doing a great job of slowing him down.
Oh, Nurse Ratchet getting sent to the penalty box for now to play block. He tries to negotiate the release, and it doesn't happen. He's still sitting in the penalty box. Sharknado out, but not able to pick up any points. 4 on the board for Philadelphia in that jam.
85-77, biggest difference that we are seeing in these early stages of this second half is that the point totals for the Hooligans are now down to single digits versus the early runs that we saw them go on with Uncle Dad.
I think the biggest spread we saw today was 40, and that was at a 50-10 mark. 85-77 right now. Il Nino lining up against Beast. Beast takes a little bit of a chest move, goes slow, but then he bursts. And look at that. Around the outside, he just takes out that whole blocking line, says, nope, you gave me an inch, I'm taking a mile, and goes.
Beast loves that outside line, finds it. He draws those blockers in towards the inside line and just explodes.
And look at that, Il Nino in, the call not being done. He scoops up points. He scoops up 4 points. Look at that and the excitement of El Nino as that happens. Matching points with Philadelphia. He didn't even win the jam.
Yeah.
He won the points, and that's what matters to him.
The intensity, again, is the thing that for me is the biggest difference, as I've said, and we hear the Anarchy bench coming from our right, the Hooligans from our left. It's just an electric environment here. Antrax now on the track, facing off against Grasso. Antrax pushing forward, trying to break through. One blocker to beat, picks up the lead jammer call.
Antrax out of the pack first. Correction. Yeah, Antrax. They've got the name up wrong on the board. Antrax is out with lead for the Anarchy. This is their chance to step it up and maybe get some points and jump right back to an almost tied game. Grasso removing the helmet cover, looking to put a star pass out there. Not happening yet.
5-point pass now by Antrax. Grasso keeping that helmet cover in his hand.
Hopefully Antrax hits this and quits this. Let's see what happens. He gets in, he gets one set of hips. 2, 2, 2, 3. Yes, he may have picked them all up. Philadelphia going down, and look at that. Look at that, we have a lead change.
Wow.
Oh boy, hello. Hello, Vancouver. How you doing?
Yeah. I got to tell you, I think I heard the roars from Texas as we now have a lead change.
The funny thing is, after that, they don't even know what team they are. They're yelling, who are we? And it's like, no, you guys are Anarchy guys. Get this.
What a wonderful bout we have in front of us. Betty Switch looking to turn the tide for the Hooligans, jamming against Anarchy. With the star, it is Sonic Boom for Austin.
Couldn't ask for a better game to call. This is just an incredible bit of action. Betty Switch out of the pack first on this jam. She will get lead, but look at that. We've had a swap up. Star in Totomatic's hands. He will chase her down and try to force off the call as Sonic Boom clips her as she goes by. 2 points.
So,
and a lead change again. How's it going?
I tell you, this is why we are here. There is a golden ticket on the line. These two teams battling for one of the 2 qualifying spots that are left for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships in Wales. And I got to tell you, these next 21 minutes and 50 seconds, my heart.
Hey, if I'm at, obviously you have a little bit of a relationship with them, but when I'm at home watching stuff like this, I put it on my big screen and I'm on the sofa yelling.
Well, sure.
Points
and you know,
this close. And you can't see me on the feed, but I am literally standing on a chair right now watching this game, equally as excited as if I was at home. Uncle Dad through the pack, gets lead. He has not incurred a single penalty since he's gotten to 5.
Playing very clean, and this is what I love. This type of situation for me, when I say heart attack, it ain't just about it's about how well both teams are playing. And Uncle Dad right now still very dangerous because he's playing carefully and he's still scoring points.
And calling off the jam, locking down the other team from scoring points. And there you go, 95-90 now. During the break, I went up to Sonic Boom, and I was just like, thank you for such an amazing bit of playing, because you're giving us as announcers some great material to work with. Because,
sure.
Oh my gosh, the Anarchy team just blew it apart at the end of the first half.
Yeah. Nothing more dangerous than a player that can play through penalties, and right now we're seeing Uncle Dad do that. Beast also has been dangerous all bout long. He's facing off against El Nino, and El Nino forced out on the outside line. Will have to recycle. Beast did as well, and Beast is through. Lead jammer for the Hooligans is Beast.
Beast jumping that line originally, getting knocked out, but then comes back and does it on the opposite side, which gets him out of the pack. El Nino is out and clear of the pack. We'll see if Beast sees that and reacts to it. Exactly that happens. He gets his points and calls off the jam, now putting the spread at 8 points between the two teams.
Hooligans now with the momentum swing starting to favor them. 98 to 90, 3-point jam. And we shall see what happens in these next 20 minutes to determine who will get the trip to Wales for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships. Anthrax back on the line for Anarchy, facing off against Grasso, who, as you mentioned earlier, Jonesy, has quite a cheering section here in the venue.
It's a hooligan-heavy cheering section.
Oh, yeah.
It is their members and friends. And Grasso out of the pack first, but on his tail, Anthrax is going to hunt them down. Let's see how they
I'm not even sure Grasso knows that that's the case.
Oh, he's looking over that shoulder.
Yeah, he
doing
is.
the one leg lift as he goes around the corner. Oh, 3 points at the back. Did he grab any of them? He did. That was bad play by Austin. Leaving skaters at the back. Those are, when it gets to that kind of a jammer race, that is a Pac-Man game.
Yeah, you cannot be those
keep
keep moving.
That need to be chopped up.
Reaching the century mark first is Philadelphia. 19 minutes, 5 seconds, 10-point differential. Betty Switch now jamming for the Hooligans. Sonic Boom on the line for Anarchy.
I'm going to have a hard time concentrating. Both teams doing their own cheers on their respective benches.
The energy in here is amazing as Betty Switch trying to make her way past the Anarchy blockers, and there it is, lead jammer Betty Switch.
And in the time it took to sing that song, Betty Switch did get out and get lead, but we have a removal by Sonic Boom, and he has made his way through the pack doing that.
We'll see what it is 2 points.
There you go.
Are lifted by the referee, 102 to 90.
That spread's kind of breaking apart. We had that little burst of energy. We had that success. We had that lead change, and then it petered out a little bit.
Well, but
a little bit, tiny
right?
Bit.
It leaves us with the excitement of trying to figure out what's going to happen. Uncle Dad now with a push on the front side against a strong Anarchy wall.
Not moving.
Yeah. Sharknado working against the Hooligans wall as well, trying to get some help from Tatomatic.
And there you go, Uncle Dad just doing what he does so well. I spoke too soon, but there we go. Just the way he dances, he's got such long legs, he just steps around the opponents.
Hooligans with the momentum on their side once again. Uncle Dad jumps to the apex, puts up 5.
Ouch. And we have a star pass on the Austin Anarchy track. Naked Alien with the star in his hands now will be your jammer for Austin. And Uncle Dad not going to let him get any points, calls off the jam.
Finishes off that jam with an additional 2 points. 7 to 2 as 2 points were stolen there at the end by Anarchy. But again, Jonesy, we're seeing the momentum has switched to the Hooligans once again.
Yes, and a little hug from Beast to El Nino on the jam line as
you can see it on the line on the screen there.
And yeah, so 4-3 blocker advantage for Austin on this next one. El Nino is going to hope to maybe do something and get around to close points between the two teams, but for now, no action as Beast gets knocked out and recycled by Danny B.
El Nino is out first, lead jammer for Anarchy.
Beast is hot on his tail.
Yes, he is. Quarter distance of track between the two as Beast closes quickly. El Nino picks up 1. And a track cut is being signaled.
Just a blocker.
It is a blocker. Okay, just wanted to be sure. That is vicious, and it looks like we'll be reporting.
A 4-1 win on that jam by Austin Anarchy over Philadelphia. No, that has just twisted to a 3-2.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. The refs changed their pointing. And 95 for Austin Anarchy, 111 for Philadelphia. 15 and a half minutes left in this game.
And Trax facing off against Grosso. One blocker apiece in the penalty box. Grosso is out with the lead jammer call.
That was just beautiful. Both times his skates came to the edge, stayed in bounds. Amazing peel work. And he's just got that sidestepping just done beautifully. And he does it again as he goes through the pack and out for points. Sees the jammer, calls it off. He's not going to let Austin put any points up this time.
Lead differential now back up to 20 points as Austin Anarchy calls a timeout, which I think you and I both agree now's the time.
I concur that was a great idea, and that will give us a chance. We've got a medic called for down here, I believe. I'm not sure about that. Nope, that was Sonic, not medic. Okay. This timeout, of course, brought to you by Nerd Roller Skates. Nerd Roller Skates, everything you need for roller derby and beyond. Free shipping across Canada for orders over 150 Canadian dollars at nerdskates.com. You can always visit their full-service shop in Calgary, Alberta. Nerd Roller Skates for people who roll.
Save On Foods has also been a sponsor of a lot of good food that has been provided for us here in the venue. Thank you to them. And it was Cobb's Breads, if I remember correctly, that provided all kinds of carbs for this guy. And just a great tournament hosted by Vancouver Murder, and so many people in place to help out. Jonesy, it's been a great weekend for all of us on all levels.
I mean, you know, it's not common, but I'm looking at a volunteer right now wiping the water that fell down in front of the benches. I mean, normally at tournaments, you just kind of let it go and try to find some paper towel yourself, but they've got people in every spot.
Everything
the tape goes down on the track, they've got someone there. There's dust to mop, they've got someone there.
Yeah.
Great hosting, great event.
And right now, Betty Switch has the star for the Hooligans. Sonic Boom for Austin Anarchy, and we are just a few seconds away. Here we go.
Philadelphia, of course, with all their timeouts and official reviews. Austin down to their one official review left for their next timeout, should they need it.
And Sonic Boom picks up lead jammer for Anarchy.
And he gets through, grabs some points, all of the points, and calls it off. We should see.
Blocking out of bounds penalty is what will send Bruce Payne III to the penalty box.
We're waiting for the the jam ref, to put the points up. She's talking with Landon Flat. That's Kami from Saskatchewan, Canada, talking with Landon Flat.
Looking for
My
a
vote
score
is for all 4
update.
points, but I, of course, don't have the view that they do, and that is what goes up.
It is 4 points. It is 4 points.
Look at me paying attention sometimes. And on the track, Uncle Dad's still out there, still not incurring any penalties since the 5 that he had. Sharknado getting knocked out and recycled. Uncle Dad dances on the outside.
Number 6. Number 6 just picked up as a track cut is called on Uncle Dad.
I believe their gamble has worked out because really he's gotten a lot more points than that single penalty will allow possibly Austin to get.
Again, I'm not going to speak as someone who's played the sport. I've watched it, announced it and such, but this is the kind of play you have to be willing to do at this level when so much is at stake. So kudos to the Hooligans for continuing their game plan regardless of what's happening so far.
The goal here is to win. That's what they want to do. 6.
Thank you. Wonderful officials here this weekend helping us out.
Great time. And so, of course, as you can tell, the goal there was to lock Uncle Dad down in the box.
Yeah.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, is that the right thing to do? Because had they let him go back out, they could have called it off then, and he would have been out of the rotation. Now you've given him a 30-second break to chill, and he's going to go back out on the track. We'll see what happens.
El Nino is the jammer with the power start for Anarchy. Uncle Dad back out of the box, right into an Anarchy wall.
Both jammers. The Austin blocking line almost got caught off guard there. They were all to the left-hand side when Uncle Dad came out. He came out, he pushed through, and he got lead.
Yes, he did. El Nino still battling against a strong wall of Hooligans. He gets forced to the infield, a little bit slow to get up, so we'll see what the impact is here as Uncle Dad now looking for points.
Oh, there was an impact.
Yeah. No doubt.
But yeah, at the front, the Austin line slowing down Uncle Dad while El Nino continues his attempts at getting through the pack. Uncle Dad, full control. He's got lead, and he's just having fun.
Naked Alien closing down that outside line and now forcing back Uncle Dad.
A penalty being issued to number 9. T-Ice is going to sit down.
Again, strong blocks and hits by the Anarchy blockers are forcing Uncle Dad back. El Nino himself having trouble with the Hooligans blockers as Nurse Ratchet just put a huge hip check on El Nino.
And at the front, Uncle Dad going up against the 4-wall of Austin Anarchy blockers. 33 seconds left in this jam. El Nino finally through and gets out, and I can expect Uncle Dad to be calling this off any second now. There you go.
Uncle Dad looks over at El Nino and has this look of like,
sorry, bud.
Well, not only that, but it's also that sort of, I don't want to call it resignation, but this notion of like, you guys are still with us. It's still, you're still here. And it's
a question mark, yeah.
You know, a lot of respect between, you know, these two teams. And
it's only a 17-point game.
Exactly. So,
11 minutes left.
No, absolutely.
This is nowhere near over.
But contrasted from the first 20 minutes. And I mean,
yes,
you got to know.
That is a fact. This game is on now. It was not on in the first 20 minutes, but now it is. And the Austin Anarchy have not stopped and will not stop. Beast gets knocked to the outside. He tried to spin around a move, was unsuccessful. Antrax in the meantime picked up lead. So this is Austin's control right now. As Beast gets knocked and recycled and knocked and recycled.
Right up against T-Ice and now into a 4-wall of Hooligans. That's Beast skillfully juking through and finishing up his initial pass. Antrax puts up 5 and calls it off.
Wow. What a game.
If ever there was an understatement in this weekend of awesome games, Jonesy, you just said it. What a game.
Yes. Lining up, we've got Grasso on the line with Sonic Boom. The penalty box is empty. 9 minutes and 50 seconds left. A now 12-point game.
And very fast-paced game. It's just move,
I look down,
move.
I look up, something has changed.
Yeah.
Somebody in the penalty box, someone's gotten points. Yes.
Well, but and I'm talking about from a time standpoint, we're already under 10 minutes. It's just
that is true. Maybe it's because the energy level is sitting at about 150%
that might be
on both of us and on the track.
Grasso facing off against Sonic Boom.
Oh, big hit.
And a track cut on Bruce Payne will cause him to have to sit down. Sonic Boom.
No time to play, kids. We don't have time to play. Oh, but Grasso's got the lead, so of course
he
Sonic Boom has no choice.
Yeah, pace of the pack increasing.
At that pack move, of course. That's the old playing with your food game, and that's what Grasso's doing, and he has the right. He had lead.
Indeed.
And Sonic Boom wasn't moving, so you know what? If you want to rock the clock and play with it, hey, that's fine. We have the lead right now. I'm sure that Philadelphia would be perfectly fine not scoring any points by either team to the end of the game, killing 8.5 minutes. Of course,
I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
But you understand what I mean.
Oh, indeed.
I mean, when you've got the advantage point-wise, play the clock game.
Yeah.
But don't gamble too hard.
All right. We just got an update that T-Ice, 5 penalties.
Oh.
Betty Switch, no pass, no penalty. And in scoring position.
The fans were not happy with that lack of call on whatever that move was as we were looking to see who had 5 penalties. Naked Alien taking Betty Switch down, but goes down with her. She is able to get through, put 5 points on the board. She has not got lead, however, so the lead is still open should Sharknado, correction, he does not have the star on, will not have lead. There will be no lead on this jam.
Sharknado does complete the pass, but it took a lot of effort and a lot of time for that to happen. So Betty Switch against a 3-wall for Anarchy now. Kojo rising out with Bruce Payne and Naked Alien.
Betty Switch just being informed by her bench that she is not lead. Kind of had a, that's not what I wanted to hear right now sound. But she has not let that stop her, and she pushes through and puts another 5 on the board. And meanwhile, we've had a star attempt pass. Sharknado making his way through. I'm not sure if he picked up any points before that star pass happened. I'm not sure if Austin has put anything on the board, but Betty Switch is back in and around to score some more points.
Naked Alien now holding the star in his hand, trying to get through, and he has just run into a ton of resistance from the Hooligans.
And he almost jumped that apex and got through, but then did not succeed and gets out of the pack, and he will grab 1 point on that pass.
Waning
Betty
seconds
Switch.
of this jam sees Betty Switch hit the ground hard, and Naked Alien now with the star, trying to get some points before this jam is over. And we'll see what the score update is.
Betty Switch, yes, having a 3 in her back pocket as that jam comes to an end. She had passed 3 sets of hips, and wow.
12-1 jam in favor of the Hooligans. Make that 13-4 jam. 13-3. You know what?
They're messing with you.
I tell you.
Those scorekeepers, they do that. And it's back up to 4.
13-4. I'm going to say it before they switch it again. 132 to 111, 6 minutes, 2 seconds, and Antrax with the star.
And 2 sitting in the penalty box for the Hooligans. Beast just attempted the run down the line and got knocked out.
Antrax has cleared for the lead jammer call. Beast, though, not too far behind. Anarchy moving in quick to try to create space. No points on that jam.
And we've been informed that number 6010, Kojo Rising, the Austin Anarchy, is on 5 penalties as well.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. And as I look at the time left, I think
Time, kids.
It's really time for both teams to settle in and make the final push.
I'm looking at Spanx, and I feel she's contemplating. She looked like she was contemplating in that official review timeout. But luck be on her side that we have track maintenance to do and an official timeout has happened. This will give her a chance to take a breather. She hasn't gathered the troops yet and taken advantage of the situation. She is going to go out and talk with the troops that are on the track. Head ref running around pointing at different spots that need some repair. As we can see, some of the tiles are starting to lift a little bit, and they're putting tape down to lock them down.
The story as to where we stand: there are 2 blockers in the penalty box for the Hooligans, 1 for Anarchy, all standing. And the difference here in terms of points is a mere 21. 132 to 111, 5 minutes, 12 seconds.
So I don't know about you, but I've seen jammers get 25-point jams.
Sure. Oh, no, I mean, that's no doubt that can happen. But if we look at the pattern of what we're seeing, the Hooligans have reclaimed the momentum. And even though they're not scoring as many points jam to jam as they did in the early going, they're maintaining control.
Now, flashback to the first half. I want to say that the point spread was about at this same distance, at about this same time level, maybe a little more.
Sure.
And wow.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Remember, this is going to be so much fun to watch. This is just going to be silly and crazy. And it's going to be, I can't wait to see it come down to the point where everybody's holding their breath as the jam refs go and count the points at the end. And it comes down to that. Of course, that can destroy souls, but at the same time, you get your money's worth. And you know how much you paid for this feed this weekend.
Oh, wait a minute.
Definitely getting your money's worth on that.
Right now, I like this matchup. It is Sonic Boom for Anarchy and Grasso. This has been an exciting matchup throughout this bout.
And Sonic Boom with the advantage there. He's only got 2 blockers to play with, but one of them is Nurse Ratchet, and Nurse Ratchet is great at knocking people out.
But a penalty has been called on both jammers. Sonic Boom got a blocking out of bounds penalty. Track cut for Grasso.
So
Boom will come out first.
This is going to go 2 minutes.
I have a feeling.
And both jammers are back on the track, and all of the blockers are back on the track. So, reset to 0. Grasso getting almost taken out. He is out of the pack first, but not lead, as there will be no lead.
And a forearm penalty now by,
Nurse Ratchet.
Oh, Nurse Ratchet. Okay, I missed the...
Yeah, he skated down and had a seat. He did that whole clip of Sonic Boom, but used more arm than shoulder. Sonic Boom, though, at the back, stuck behind Ventura and his teammate Speed Tree. Oh, hello! Automatic comes in and clears Speed Tree out of there. That does not help his jammer at all. Looks like we might have had a star pass. Naked Alien with the star in his hand at the front.
But gets forced out and has to recycle.
Grasso having 5 points on the board. Gets knocked to the inside by Totomatic. And Danny B. Danny B at the back. Oh, Nurse Ratchet comes backwards, gets clocked. Because, of course, that's a legal target zone. Hits him in the chest.
Grasso getting forced out at the top of turn number 3. He will have to come all the way back to the end of turn 2.
You mean right where Naked Alien just had to go all the way back to? And a penalty will be issued here. It's a backlog penalty on number 9. T-Ice, we know he was at 5. This will put him at 6.
Yeah.
6 penalties.
Much happening in this jam. Naked Alien clears. And the jam comes to a close.
Just as we started this jam, we will end this jam with 2 blockers for the Hooligans in the penalty box. Plus
and a jammer.
The Grasso in the box. That is a power start. And we have 26-point difference between these 2 teams.
If there is a setup that would favor Anarchy, this is what we're looking at. 2 blockers in the box and a power start. Antrax on the track with the star. The pivot is Totomatic. We'll see what Anarchy can do. Danny B in to help out. There's the lead jammer call.
There we go. Antrax out of the pack will come around. No movement out of the penalty box yet because they all just started their penalties. Antrax in, gets a little help from his friends, pushes through. Boom. 5 points on the board for Antrax. The whole penalty box is standing right now.
Stood up.
Expect to see them appear on your screen momentarily. Antrax is going to take advantage. That gets through the pack, another 5.
Now remember, Grasso still has to make an initial pass, so there's still more time for Anarchy.
Except that Antrax now plays against 4 blockers instead of 2.
Indeed.
Gets chipped to the inside. Don't call it yet, buds.
Antrax assessing the situation, looking for space.
Here he goes. Here he goes. He's got one more blocker left to push through. Left to push through. Gets chipped out by T-Ice. Oof. Thinks about it. Calls it off. 4 more. 4 more.
And we have... Yep, there we are. 14-point jam for Austin. 125 on the board. 141. Damage done.
Wow.
And so again,
as discussed right before this, we got 1 minute and 21 seconds. We've got 1 timeout left for Austin Anarchy. All the timeouts left for the Hooligans. And here we go.
T-Ice on 6 penalties.
Oh, Beast is out.
Classic Beast. You knew it was going to come again, and there it is.
Oh, yeah, but look who else is out. Sharknado is out, and he will pressure Beast as much as possible. Look at that. Good work by the Austin blockers to not be points. Beast picks up 2-0 for Anarchy. 46 seconds. Still 1 more jam.
More importantly,
timeouts.
Right. More importantly, the time, the clock, it's moving. And so, again, good on Beast to get those points, call it off, knowing where the clock stands. And credit to Uncle Dad, who, really kept it clean, still in there. So much to give compliments to the Hooligans.
And there is our official review being called by Texas. They're taking it as a timeout.
Right.
Now, when you do those official reviews, you know that you can take it as a timeout, or you can ask for something. Some people in the past used to ask for complicated things to try to gain as much time as possible.
Right.
Nowadays, they've made it simple. This is going to be a crazy last jam. And,
the jammer rotation for the Hooligans, Jonesy, has just been so strong. Beast, Uncle Dad, Betty Switch, who are about to see jam in what will more than likely be the final jam. And again, the jammers for Anarchy have been effective as well. And, here we go. You're going to put El Nino out there. Good. I think a strong move. Anarchy knows the success he's had. They also know the trouble he's had, but they are going to trust that in a moment like this, he will rise to the occasion. Betty Switch in the same scenario. You might pick different jammers if we were the coaches, but at the end of the day, you're going to trust
why not
who
put
you
Uncle
know.
Dad out?
Exactly, yeah.
But if Uncle Dad gets a penalty, it's not a 30-second penalty. It is a 2-minute penalty because it will be his number 7.
Right.
So that's why you don't put Uncle Dad out.
Exactly. So whatever the call may be, we are simply here to call the action. I like this matchup. I like what's been happening so far, and here we go. What is to be the final jam between these two teams.
Oh my gosh.
Il Nino forced out just barely and has to recycle. Betty Switch working against a 3-wall of Naked Alien and Trex and Vicious.
Naked Alien getting a penalty, and Switch is out, and she has lead. She now controls everything that is happening out there. 10 seconds left on the clock.
And more importantly, 2 Anarchy blockers into the box.
As she watches that clock tick down, 3 more seconds, and is wise. She will call it now. The whole bench is suggesting it, and there we go. She has taken this, and she has. Oh my God! First thing out of the mouth of any of the Hooligans is towards the Anarchy bench. It looked aggressive, but it was, oh my God, you guys were amazing to play.
Yeah, amazing
That's
competitors.
how this game works. I love it. It gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, indeed.
There's Ratchet.
Such a great moment. The Hooligans have punched the ticket.
Wow.
On the first of 2 available spots in the Men's Roller Derby Association Championship. No, we're not.
First one.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll be the first to tell you that I'm glad I get to watch the next one because I need to recover.
I seriously have goosebumps right now. That was incredible. The camaraderie at the end of that. You've got a couple of people over there. Beast was just giving some pep talking.
Oh, yeah.
And just, wow.
Yeah. Credit to the Philadelphia Hooligans for a fantastic bout. Anarchy right in the mix, making it interesting and keeping it close the entire way.
How did you people like that at home? Was that worth the viewing? Because, wow.
Yeah.
That couldn't have been a better game to sit down and watch on a Sunday.
I could not agree more. Thank you so much, all of you who've joined us on the live feed. It is official. Final score 143 Philadelphia Hooligans, 125 Austin Anarchy.
Wow.
And Jonesy, we got one more to go. It is going to be Denver Ground Control taking on the Ray City Rebels for the second qualifying spot. And so don't you
hour to that game time.
Yeah.
And if this is any
indication
preview of what we're going to see, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy, and you definitely have to be here in half an hour.
Well, speaking of crazy, that's Jonesy, G.I. Jones and myself, Piggy Fatness. We're crazy about this game.
Oh, what a great
Stay
time.
with us. We will have more action here shortly as our final bout is up to go here in about half an hour. Gosh, I'm not sure what else to say other than
thank you so much for joining us. And I think we can finish it with what we started it with.
Wow. We'll be right back with more Derby action.